Hello, everybody, and welcome to Four Mics, the gaming podcast about gaming news and video games that are going live. Or dead.
Whoa.
Who knows? I'm here with a Neopet. Doc is a Neopet today. He'll be back at some point. He went to do something over there. And I got Deldev.
I'm not here.
Deldev's not here either, apparently. I've made a terrible error. I'm apparently mostly alone, and I have Steve, though. I'm not completely alone.
He's not here either.
I know, he's been awfully quiet, and it's weird. He's not eating something this time either, and you just fucked everything up by doing that. Everything up.
I thought about getting my goldfish, but it's too late.
No.
It's too late now. We've started. You weren't eating for once when I opened this stream.
To my my Hubba Bubba gum.
Steve's gone completely blurry.
Yeah, just doing that. I don't know.
I think it's because you zoomed in so far. Anyways, let's flip over into talking about what's probably going to be a real No Man's Sky, or the No Man's Sky people wanted.
Oh?
What I always wanted.
Yeah, Dual Universe has a voxel-based building and mining system, which you can literally destroy the planet, dig all the way into the core and through the planet, making a giant hole, and then use those materials to build structures.
Dude, I love space engineers.
It's basically, yeah, I guess, kind of is space
Yeah, say.
engineers.
Space engineers is basically what everyone wanted from No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
Except without the No Man's Sky part.
basically, but, you know, Space Engineers is lacking the everybody's on the same place, your impact is left in the universe for people to find. You know, that type of
Big
stuff.
custom creative game.
Yeah, it's a big custom creative game, basically. It runs on the same core voxel engine as EverQuest Landmark
Wait, they use the
did.
same... Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
you
thought
remember.
you were saying it runs on the same thing as space engineers. I'm like, oh goodness, this isn't gonna go well.
Oh, no. It runs on a similar system. I think it was similar or the same system as, okay, similar system to EverQuest Landmark. It's probably their own custom engine, but it's very, the whole building system is, you and I played EverQuest Landmark, and it's, when I watched the video for how the building system is, it's basically EverQuest Landmark's building system.
Okay.
Again, and then
Hopefully with a better game.
hopefully, and then, you know, space exploration, building spaceships, building space stations, destroying planets. All of the fun of what we were hoping to do. Steve's plotted thing he wanted to do in No Man's Sky that we can't do in No
Can't
Man's
do,
Sky.
and it upsets me.
We
What
can
plotted
do
thing?
we can do in this game. So Steve wanted to find a moon that either orbited around the planet faster or around the planet slower. So basically that the planet rotates and the moon moves either faster than the planet rotates or slower than the planet rotates in orbit. And then make a giant cable from the ground to the moon.
You're a monster.
You can then attach it to the moon and watch it wrap itself around it. And then just see what happens.
Basically
just gonna
dragging
wait
a
here
moon
and
down
enjoy
onto
this.
the surface of a planet.
Or it just creates an ever-expanding string and breaks.
Yeah, you accelerate. Actually, if the moon's going slow enough and you have enough tensile strength in the cable, it's theoretically possible that you drag the moon through space, increasing its orbital velocity and sending it away from the
Fling it.
planet. You could fling
As I
it up.
said, just see what happens. You know, what happens.
You
I'll
see,
fuck
watch
up.
the moon as it gets disintegrated, as it gets hurled to the sun.
I'll fuck up a solar system. I don't care. for science.
But yeah, so the whole it's a very interesting render system that they're running. I took a glance at it once again, looking at the system, and it's similar to the idea that the closer you get, the sharper the image gets, except
Okay.
all it does is the voxel has like 37 layers of varying size, and
Okay.
what happens on the minor level affects the voxel on the macro level. So if you make something that fills up a whole macro space on the micro level, it fills up that space on the macro level and allows you to see it, and it tries to resemble the shape on the micro level. Tries, obviously can't always succeed because you're talking about scaling something out way too far. Way farther than you actually are away from it. But it looks like it's going to be the No Man's Sky people wanted. It's a space exploration game with survival elements, from what I've understood, and then a whole building and creating system that is basically what people wanted. The Minecraft aspect.
Are they giving me like very mysterious trailers? Because that's all I really wanted.
Mysterious trailers.
Mysterious, ambiguous trailers.
Using assets that don't exist in the actual game. Well, rephrased. That are in an
Don't
actual
exist.
game. They're in the game, but they're in a folder
Isn't
marked
gameplay,
E3 trailer. According
By the
to
way, I just sent you a article that I actually wanted to talk about.
you sent me an article you wanted to talk about. What article
Yeah.
did Steve
Wow.
want to talk about?
Wow.
You want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw this article and just kind of skipped it, but I'll add it in after the next article.
Wow.
What do you mean, wow?
How could you
Man.
betray him like that, Bulldog? He was a friend. Now he's not.
Exactly. I should trump every article. We should stop talking about this one and go directly to that one.
It's almost like the next article, though, flows better with the topic base.
You know,
Because
Steve,
I
you
flow
really
into the
should
next
trump it.
article, and the next article says, Sony president criticizes No Man's Sky.
I don't like this.
Way.
We're skipping it.
Veto have destroyed.
Hold on, you can get No Man's Sky for $4 off Kubo.
Off Kubo? What the heck is Kubo?
I don't fucking know.
But
Oh no, it's just a book called No Man's Sky. Never mind.
I want it either way.
I don't.
So, basically, the president of Sony criticizes him for not having a PR person or PR department to manage the PR for No Man's Sky. Because he says the PR strategy was bad. And I was like, promising.
Oh, really?
Basically, after Sony went and, spent all this money to help the company along with this idea, this is their way of being like, we don't agree with him.
It wasn't our fault.
Yeah, that's basically what
It
this
was,
is.
kind of. Because, we did their marketing and all that stuff, which is technically what PR is supposed to do. But it wasn't our fault!
Nope.
It was Sean Murray!
Sheen Murray.
Sheen Murray!
It was Peter.
Fuck that guy.
With all the
Well,
hype
I'm looking at
fallout,
this
it's
movie.
perhaps not surprising that Murray has largely gone silent as of late.
Really? I wonder why. He was so popular.
Hasn't posted
Everyone-
anything since August.
Wait, is this another
Everyone wants
trailer?
to talk to him.
Everyone wants
Is
to talk
this
to him.
gonna be another trailer?
What? I haven't seen
Did
it.
they release another trailer?
No, I said, is this going to be another trailer? He's going quiet.
It's probably another trailer. You're right. Yoshida made some positive statements about the game as well, saying he really enjoyed it and was looking forward to continuing to play the game.
Yeah, he's not made a tweet in over a month.
There's
But
gonna
Sean
be any
Murray,
bad
why?
odds. He's gonna be so happy.
Wait, they're following somebody. Oh, he's following Hello Games.
Shocker.
He's following himself.
Shocking.
goes, yeah,
He's
that-
following his
look at
game
that Twitter.
company.
Look at that Twitter.
What's
They
their
haven't posted
Twitter?
anything yet. They haven't posted anything since August.
And there you go. Shocker. The game fell to shreds. People are really upset with it. And then they were like, look, we're going to patch in this stuff. Maybe.
It's
It might
great
be a
because
DLC.
They could have just fixed all their issues by talking with people, and people wouldn't have just thrown the game out immediately, even if it was the same exact game.
Probably. And all they really would have had to do is, like, tone back the, like, you'll be able to do this, you'll be able to do this, you'll create your own adventure in space, and that's not what happens at all.
Hey, they get great advice from Peter Molyneux.
Good
Peter
point.
Molyneux is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I like his games. They're pretty swell.
I'm questioning whether Steve actually knows who we're talking about.
I know Peter Molyneux. He's the guy that did Fable.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm more
he
shocked.
was a great man until he decided to
His
destroy
other
company
shit is pretty
from the
bad.
inside out.
Yeah, like Godless and all that crap.
Yeah.
Yep, they, Hello Games seems to be taking a Peter Molyneux approach to things. You'll be able to
That's good.
plant an acorn and in 30 years see the grown tree. People are still upset that that doesn't happen.
It hasn't been 30 years yet. Calm down.
Yeah, jeez, relax.
Well,
Give it 30 years.
the primary thing was like you'd be able to watch it progress into like a sapling and grow, but
Who says it's not like any other phone game where it just immediately grows to full growth?
Hey, you gotta put bone meal on it, and eventually it'll just be a full-grown tree.
eventually,
Just like real life. Just like real life.
yeah, real life.
You just go outside, you kill a
Meals
skeleton,
with my
you,
bone.
you mush up his bones, and you drop it on a sapling, and then it's a tree.
Man, I'd love to know where you're finding these skeletons to mush up their bones. That
They're
seems
inside
more
people,
worrisome
silly.
than the rest of it.
They're inside people. You just gotta dig them out.
Okay. All right. I'll accept that. I don't really have anything else to say besides this is Sony trying to cover their tracks. Not surprisingly,
This is something like, yeah, just like, we didn't do anything wrong.
it's not our fault. We
Be mad at Petey.
don't apologize. There's a hand. I saw a
Yeah,
hand.
there's a Neopet getting attacked.
Oh no, the
Good
Neopet has died.
lord!
Oh
It's
no!
more Bosnia!
No! His name was Franklin! I was emotionally attached to it.
We already knew that.
How could you
I
die?
don't know if he can hear us yet. Oh, he definitely can't hear us yet.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back.
Hello.
I just have to do my sound thing so that way you guys
Moved
don't.
Franklin, you bastard.
I can bring him back if you want.
It's
Yes.
Are you a necromancer?
Hold on, let me just grab my fucking.
Put them on your shoulder and I'll be happy.
Actually, where are my headphones?
I
That's
ate
a good
them.
question. They're
Steve,
just-
can you
Oh,
send that
okay,
article in curse
Over
for the
here.
other two while he finds his headphones? 'Cause
Uh,
I'm
No.
about to progress into that article. Thanks, buddy. Steve has added an article he wants to talk about. I wasn't sure why. I'm very interested to see why Steve wants to talk about it. So
Did you actually read the article? Or?
I read the headline and said, okay, they're announcing an update. Because half the time, these articles tend to... I didn't read the article. I thought it was just a stub article. So
Nope.
Half the
There's
time, I didn't
stuff
read
to
the
it.
article.
half the time, they're stub articles, and I just ignore them.
Anyway, I heard you guys were finishing up talking about No Man's Sky.
Yes!
What?
We're finishing
The,
up talking about how the PlayStation... Well, Sony president has basically berated the PR strategy of No Man's
He just
Sky.
he threw Sean Murray right under the bus. Just whoop. There you go.
Everyone hate him.
Everyone.
Did you
hates
hear my
Steve
great
Murray.
comparison?
They found a nice double-decker bus to throw that motherfucker under.
Yeah, did you happen to
It was
hear
a
Delta's
classy
comparison? It was a
Two
good
stories,
comparison.
bitch. No, but my biggest problem with No Man's Sky isn't even the fucking PR shit, believe it or not. It's that outside of E3, okay, in like other gaming conventions, they were showing off footage and they were like, "This is gameplay. This is gameplay." And it turns out when the fucking game gets released on PC, that the two E3 level assets and the Gamescom assets are in the game under developmental, and half the assets aren't in the actual game.
Bulldog
Yeah.
was mentioning that as well.
And like, that's, believe it or not, grounds for that's grounds for suit. That's false advertising. That's a direct violation of the Federal Trade Commission's regulations on product product advertisement. So like, when people show stuff at E3 and they put that little asterisk disclaimer in the bottom of all the footage that says this is E3 development footage, suspect to change, blah blah blah. No Man's Sky didn't do that. They're like, this is what the game is going to be. This is gameplay. And to this day, on Steam, their Steam promotional material uses footage of unused assets from one of the E3 demos to advertise the game on Steam. And I'm like, how has no one fucking taken you to court yet? Like,
You heard it here first. 4 Mike's podcast will be pursuing No Man's Sky.
Yes!
legal
Do it!
action. Legal action.
I can donate $10 to this cause.
Are my levels still good? Because I had to move my shit around.
Yeah, you're
let
fine.
me double check.
Fine to me, anyway.
I mean, yeah, I want to check that. I don't want to be
Yeah,
blowing the ears out of our viewers here.
Hold up, let's sue them together. Let's leave those two out of it.
Yeah, my $10 would go a long way.
Yep.
All
Okay,
right.
I got like 5, so like total we have $15.
Yeah,
So,
we could
like,
hire
Yeah,
someone for a few
everybody's,
seconds.
everybody's good. I got
take gas
everybody's out.
money to
as well.
get there.
We
All
could
right.
we can contact Video Game Lawyer on Reddit and have him go after them.
There we go.
Yeah, we could say the payments in the actual suit itself, not from.
I want all the money they received from this game.
Moving
Thanks, Steve.
on now that Steve has stated his ridiculous pursuits. Steve's article: Star Wars Battlefront Death Star expansion is now live for season pass holders. Patch notes are here.
So the reason I wanted to talk about it, because this is, to me, a step in the right direction, because it's space battles. Kind of.
Wait, you mean they're actually putting space battles?
Kind of.
Unbelievable. Who could have possibly
So-
predicted this?
Is it a
It
tactic?
changes everything. Like this.
Based.
I was gonna say,
No, like, do you know that stupid AT-AT game mode they had? Like you have to move to a
Walker
certain
Assault.
point, and then, yeah, the Walker Assault, where, like, the Y-Wings would come down and bomb them every so often if
Yeah.
you move to a checkpoint.
Nope.
Mhm.
That's practically what this is, except you're in spaceships the whole time.
Is it terribly unbalanced?
I don't know. I just
Like
was
the
reading it earlier.
freaking Walker modus? You're like, oh well, we were trying to be representative of the films. I was like, no, you stupid cunts. It's a video game. You have to have both sides with an equal chance of victory because this is a game, and the game is king. Okay? Do you have any idea how difficult it is to actually win that?
yeah.
It's really hard. I don't
Not
think I
a
ever
fucking-
have.
I've done it
Besides, like, if I'm on the
once.
Stormtrooper side.
I have done it once, and that was because we had one squad of people. I was with, and this guy, I've never seen anybody have a KD like this. Okay, this guy was fucking nuts. But I was with him, and he was freaking Scarlet, and he was like directing people around through his mic, and we're all like, "Well, this guy's got like a fucking bajillion KD, so I might as well listen to him." And he fucking whipped that whole team into shape, and we fucking crushed them. Like he was like this, and this. We've got too many of this. We need more snipers. Like he knew everything. It was insane. It was like he was fucking omniscient. That's the only game I've ever won
Yeah, there's another thing they did with this
on the
too.
side of the
and
fucking rebels.
they actually removed a feature that people like were actually happy they removed, which is strange.
What
Okay.
What feature?
This feature was you can no longer have helmetless stormtroopers.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Why is that? Why is that a feature they needed to take out?
I don't know.
It probably changes the hitbox size of the head.
There might have been a hitbox thing going on there.
No, mostly it's like because there's no like helmetless stormtroopers in Star Wars universe
Well,
apparently.
There's
Whatever.
not, but even ignoring the idea that maybe it changes the hitbox to be smaller, maybe it doesn't change the hitbox to be smaller, and they're getting killed by getting hit in the head. That is
Yeah.
here rather than actually where the head is.
Oh.
Right. So there's probably other reasons, but yeah, people are happy that happened. But yeah, I'm happy to see that they are kind of going towards the space battle route, but they need to like go back to Battlefront 2 space battles, not
They're not
you know.
going. They weren't
Walker Assault in space.
Walker Assault in Space. Let's read. I'm
Yeah,
gonna read
wanna
off
see
the
that.
paragraph that lists the actual patch notes to the game's balance system. So, all traits have been updated. Most levels now have new abilities, and the level cap has been increased from 70 to 90. New visual unlocks have been added, and half a dozen hut contracts are now available. New power-ups are available in Fighter Squadron and Battle Station modes. Fighter Squadron now have AI-controlled A-Wings and TIE interceptors, and small changes all around. The A-Wing has swapped its shields for a speed boost function, though the TIE interceptor now fires a laser barrage instead of missiles. Princess Leia's E-11 blaster now falls off at 30 instead of 25 feet. And that is all the balanced.
Hold on,
They buffed Leia.
hold on, guys. I was actually reading the actual like
The actual stuff.
patch notes.
The numbers for me? Okay.
So, do you know the game mode Skirmish, which is just like team deathmatch, I assume?
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a graphical glitch where some people just spawned in as AT-ATs.
Oh, I see your new DLC. Here we go.
Yeah!
That's a problem. That would be a problem.
That's kind of bad.
Hey guys, I'm on a diet, but don't worry, my metal legs that you can see are
Like-
fine.
Are you talking like a full size AT-AT, like the actual full model?
That's it. All it says is spawn in as a AT-AT.
Okay. We need control room. Control room. You need to go to Google Images and investigate this immediately. We have to get to the bottom of this. Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, like I'm interested now.
Players in battle. This is Battlefront, right? Spawning as AT-AT, you said? Not
Yeah.
ATST? Okay.
AT-AT. I don't think there's any
Well,
pictures of it.
it's more likely for them to spawn as an ATST.
I know, but that's what it says in the patch notes. It's AT-AT.
I'm just imagining them just having that model and stuck inside the tunnels that you spawn in.
I
Well,
wonder
the way
if
I
it
think
means...
it would go,
Hold on.
like if they spawned in as an AT-AT, but still had like the normal amount of health.
What I actually think is they probably are spawning in the vehicle
Oh, okay.
rather than on foot.
I was gonna say, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
like,
that's
somebody
one
just-
heck of a glitch.
I was gonna say-
Wording, because it says spawn in as a.
yeah,
As-
like that.
Not in. Yeah, as a, not inside of.
Well, can you leave a vehicle? I didn't play the Battlefront beta. So
No,
can
you
leave
can't
a
leave
vehicle?
the
No.
vehicle.
So basically,
leave a
they're
vehicle.
spawning in as an AT-AT.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they literally spawn in as an yeah.
Let me see. You just found it? I need to see this now. We have
Doc,
to show
please
our
tell me you
viewers.
found it.
Okay, apparently what happens is like somebody gets spawned in as the vehicle that's already there. Like it spawns in with the same UUID, and it causes something to go horribly fucking wrong. And it looks like this.
Oh
If you
god.
want to load that up, so go to 00.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hold on.
everybody go ahead and stack up. Could you have this up on the control deck? Can people see this?
It's gonna be a second because I have to.
Oh.
But yes, it will be on the control deck in a minute. All right. I'm
Okay,
At 0,
so-
0.
All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mute. mute this so I'm not hearing
I feel like
audio.
lagging.
What? Oh
I
god!
love the music.
What?
What the?
What?
Interesting.
What?
Certainly should have.
They spawned in the. Oh my god, no. Okay. Alright. I don't need to watch more of this.
That. Oh no!
Oh my god, that's great.
At 30 seconds.
What happens in 30? Now I have to reload. What happens in 30 seconds?
They got
Oh,
stuck
you
together,
wanted-
and one of them is like humping the other one that's died. They're like, oh, that's great.
Oh god, okay, here goes the 30 seconds. What happens? Oh god, okay. Alright,
awesome.
that's a thing.
There's also apparently issues with the AT-ATs geo-merging into the map and becoming stuck. And their legs flinging around wildly. It's very strange.
How is that?
So, yeah,
So what
they,
happens is they spawn at the location of a dead object and then become that object?
something weird like that's going on, yeah.
That's cool.
That's ridiculous.
Why fix that? That sounds amazing.
Everyone spawn on one.
I love
But that just
Oh,
sounds
yeah, I
very
see
thing
that.
happening.
Appearance. With the arrival of Imperial officers, the certification for stormtroopers to remove their helmets in combat has been withdrawn. That's the stupidest visual update.
Wow, the general caught on that the units weren't actually wearing their helmets. Great.
Damn.
Thanks, General.
Alright. I think I'm done with Battlefront.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
Like, I
That
don't
was just a
expect
good-
them to actually do anything to fix it. Not gonna lie. Like, in general, I don't think they're going to make the game what you want out of it, Steve. Because
No,
they
no,
already
never.
started from a base that's too far gone from the subject matter. They're used to Battlefield, where it's either go capture these points, or go push these points. And basically they've made Rush, which is the Walker Assault, and now the Death Star run, I'm guessing. And then control the point, which is Skirmish, I would assume. Moving on! An article that's interesting. Older players less interested in competitive games, a new study states.
No shit.
Yeah.
People with less agile hands are
It's
unprofessional.
almost like as dexterity and skill ability falls off, people don't want to play competitive games.
Well, I need to qualify that statement because skill, I mean, obviously skill isn't an independent function of dexterity, but people's skill is falling off because their dexterity is falling off.
Yes.
And
Yes.
playing competitive games aggravates them because they were really good.
Yeah.
And the only reason why they can't compete at a high level anymore is because they're losing dexterity. So it's a double
This is-
whammy. It like if you had somebody who is really, really good at a game, or throughout their life has been really good at games, and is slowly losing their dexterity, that's like a double fuck you.
Yep.
If you have somebody who's always just fucking sucked at video games, then they don't really care.
Yeah, they'll
But-
remain their casual gamer.
But if you have a hardcore gamer who starts to get older, and starts losing their mobility in their hands, that yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I, as a gamer, am not looking forward to because I know that the dexterity fall off is somewhere in the mid 30s, right?
35.
I think-
I mean, it depends on your body, because, I mean, even now, my hands are getting pretty bad. So,
Yeah, it basically depends on how well you try to maintain it. But, there's a few interesting things, but let's start with, women fall off about 15 years earlier than men.
Okay.
So, women
I
at
can
about
probably-
the age of 20 to 22 stop wanting to play competitive games.
That
I
doesn't
can give an
surprise me.
explanation for that, probably.
yeah, most competitive women are about 8, because that makes mathematical sense.
Well, no, I'm mostly thinking because that's about the age where most women generally get pregnant. Generally.
Mm,
I mean, that
that's
has
also
some
making a...
effort towards it.
I mean, that might be an effect, but I don't think that's the reason. What I think it is
It's
I don't
not the
think-
big reason, but it's an effect.
I was gonna
Well, no, he's
say-
probably right. Like, hopefully this study actually corrected for the fact that, like, that's around when they start a family. So
Yeah.
hopefully they adjusted for that part of the study.
Well,
Otherwise,
women
you're gonna get
started
bad
at a lower
results.
level too. Like if you scroll down in the article and look at the chart, women already started at a lower level of wanting to play competitive games compared to men in general.
Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. One of the reasons why there aren't as many women in competitive games is because, from a scientific standpoint, they have a lower agile dexterity ratio than men do. Their hand-eye coordination, their dexterity is not as fast. That doesn't mean that they can't play games at a high level. It just means that when you take, you know, a freaking unimodal distribution of the average dexterity of all players, there are a lot more men on the higher end, and the highest of the highest end is where all the competitive gaming happens. So, you know, ergo, there's
Right.
barely any women there.
Makes sense. Like this article didn't surprise me at all, and I almost question
Sexist.
why this research was done besides just to do it. Like it seems obvious to
Shit,
everybody,
else.
right?
Yeah, but you got to have empirical evidence somewhere.
Okay.
So, there it is.
There, yeah, we have our empirical evidence. Here we are. This proves this happens.
So, guys, I'm upset because my Capri Sun did not come with a straw.
You
You're
got
gonna have to do what every
Capri
12-year-old does: stab it with a fork and drink it straight off the top.
Well, I used a razor to open it, so we're fine. But...
Poor Steve. Dang.
I
Actually,
used a
what's that
razor
name?
mouse to open it. We're not sponsored, but we should be.
Now razor mouse, you turned just a razor.
This also doesn't say it never reaches 0. At least from the trend, women starts to drop off substantially more near the age of 60, almost to 0. But it never reaches the 0 bell curve.
Yeah. Like when I'm older,
A woman playing a game competitively.
like let's be perfectly honest though. I mean, it kind of works out because let's say I'm gonna pull a number out of my ass. Let's say like 60% of people start a family. Okay. And they
Yeah.
start, for most guys, somewhere around their early 30s. Okay?
Yep.
You're gonna not play as many games, and when your kid's younger, you're gonna play less competitive games anyway. So it's actually works out really well, because as your kid's getting older, your dexterity is going down, and you meet at the casual gaming location where you can play a bunch of games with your kids, and then eventually they go off and get really fucking good, and you become really sad because your kid fucking constantly kicks your ass.
I was gonna
He
say
beat the kid.
this will be really interesting to watch as
Yeah, as our generation gets old.
our generation, and especially as maybe this stops being our medium for going into
Yeah,
gaming.
that's interesting. Like if the classical controller design is replaced by something like I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on now, but like a direct neural interface eventually, if we ever get that far,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
some sort of, or not necessarily direct neural, but some sort of motor sensory cortex scanning head device that's non-intrusive, which we're already getting close to that level of, you know, measurement anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It could get to a point where the decrease in dexterity is no longer a problem because the controller is directly wired into the brain. There's obviously still going to be some sort of unimodal distribution about how fast people can fire motor neurons, but like you're going to get to a point where all input latency and even, you know, the problem of sending brain waves to your own extremities is completely removed from the equation. I personally plan on playing video games until I die,
Yeah.
and whenever that may be. So, like,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
If
can't
I have a
see
kid
myself
that beats me in a game, I'll break his hands. So
I mean, it's what people don't understand. Like, video games still get a fucking bad rap, and they still get blamed for a whole bunch of shit that is not their fault. But even with all of the whining, what people aren't realizing is that, the soccer moms, for example, who are fucking bitching about their kids playing too much Call of Duty, turn around and play Candy Crush during their kid's soccer match. Okay? Like, you fucking hypocrite. Like, you're playing video games
in that way.
That's the trick, though. That's the freaking kung fu that's going on in the background, because people have come to the conclusion that video games are only like freaking, high
Only bad if
dexterity.
someone else is doing it.
Well, that, and that they're high dexterity, really high difficulty games that are played on consoles or expensive gaming rigs.
Didn't you think when you were like 18 years old just shooting up your school because you played Halo?
Don't get me started, Steve. You don't want this.
Let's look at another thing too. Obviously, not all video games require dexterity, because when I'm 60, I will still be able to play Civilization like a motherfucker.
You and I are going to be in like our 60s, still building in Minecraft. We're still going to be playing Minecraft.
Dude, just imagine Minecraft 2.
No.
Oh God!
They're gonna create a
You
Minecraft
can't.
too.
You can't redo that magic.
Just imagine if they did it though. Like not that it's gonna be like for a reason better than Minecraft.
Graphics.
What could you do?
I don't know what they do.
Well, no. Like, let's say if we ever do get to something,
it'll literally be Minecraft, but they're just gonna stop supporting Minecraft in on Minecraft 2. So if you want any updates.
We're getting to the point where like VR and direct interface is going to happen probably within the next 20 to 30 years. Like, imagine like how many applications could there be for stuff like this? Like, hardcore gamers always wince and whinge whenever you talk about video games for educational or therapeutic purposes. But imagine if you could have like Alzheimer's patients, for example, in a VR experience with full dive, where their arthritis isn't going to affect them, solving puzzle games to keep their to keep their brains working.
No, they have to play Dark Souls in VR.
Or building things, or like creating things in a sandbox Minecraft-like environment where they might be to the point where their hands or their arthritis is too bad for them to do things like even put puzzles together anymore, or do fucking crosswords. Like, imagine how many things VR and direct interface could solve from, a hospice point of view, a learning point of view. Like, gamification is something that is going to happen to education, whether or not us hardcore old fags want it to happen.
It already has happened.
I was going to say it's already happening. Like Minecraft has already entered that realm.
The only thing that people were freaking out about is they thought that was going to take away from the rest of the hardcore game development. People for some reason think that this idea of gamification or trying to make games more than just fun is going to spill over into games whose design intention is just to be fun, and that's not going to happen. You're always going to have compartmentalization where like, this is hardcore for hardcore gamers, this is casual stuff, this is mobile gaming. You could have freaking brain teasers and puzzle related games for hospice, and freaking educational games. There's always going to be, I guess I'll just call it genre separation, even though it's more like subgenre separation. Yeah. They're not going to spill over into one another very often, and they're not going to have negative effects on each other either. So the future is bright, friends, as long as we don't nuke each other into oblivion.
Hey.
There'll be lots of video games to play.
With Trump we can.
Hey, Donald Trump is going to make anime real. It's going to happen.
Can't wait for the Corey in the House anime from Donald Trump.
Dude, Corey in the House is going to be the best anime.
I mean, I don't care if we go off topic every once in a while. It's outside of the realm of gaming, but when you get into things like full dive, like full virtual reality and shit like that. I mean, Japan's problem is suddenly going to be a problem in every first world country in existence because all of the fucking weebs are not going to reproduce anymore. We're not going to bother with like all the female weebs are not going to bother with dudes. Dudes aren't going to bother with chicks. Like half the fucking population is not going to calculate anymore.
Be a population
That
problem.
started before video games, though. I'm gonna say that's already.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm saying it's going to amplify the problem.
Okay, it's gonna make it worse.
I'm okay with that though, because we have too many fucking people to feed.
I mean, it's hilarious.
Yeah, but that's going to allow the people that aren't so smart to keep reproducing.
Idiocracy,
That's also
man.
true.
It's coming.
Idiocracy
No, the
is
Ja-
a
it's
thing.
so bad.
We've already.
It's so
predicted.
bad. It's so bad that the Japanese government is incentivizing people with money to have kids.
Dude, let's go to Japan. How much they paying? I'll fuck for days.
Anyway,
So, is it just to have children? It's not to marry and raise a family. It's just to have children.
Right, just the children bit, right?
No, shush, Steve. I'm asking a legitimate question.
there are some incentives. There are some incentivized programs where like it's literally just to like have kids, to like donate genetic material, for example, for people who can't have kids, or
Right.
surrogacy, and then there's also
Okay.
marriage incentives and other stuff like that. But yeah, so I predict a utopian world where all of the weebs never have to deal with real people again. That's
I predict.
where I hope
love
that we're going.
full
Okay,
dive, man.
guys. It's about 180,000 yen per baby. Let's do it. Let's go to Japan.
180.
about
$18,000
about-
ish dollars.
About $1,684. Let's do it. Let's
For
go.
how many babies? Just one baby?
Sure.
Per baby.
That doesn't sound
baby.
Per baby.
That's what it says right here in the thing on
Said
Business Insider.
180,000 yen.
180,000 yen.
All right, we can go on to the next topic now, and we don't have to talk about relative birth rates in the future.
Are you sure?
I mean, we
It's
can stay on this topic.
Steve, it's 18,000.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 18,000.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
Alright,
it's
I'm
about-
making a living making babies.
10 yen.
18,000, 1,800.
What is our next topic?
Our next topic.
Doesn't want to talk about it.
No, I mean,
It's
we're
literally irrelevant. It's not something
Yeah.
that's gaming related. We've drifted way away from the
Yeah,
realm
we so.
of what matters. Division PTS to go live September 26th.
Wait, they're having a PTS?
Yes, they are having a
Really?
public test server
Why?
to begin testing all future patches before release.
Holy fucking
No.
shitballs. It's almost like the worst time to test is during deployment. So they're making a mini beta. Who could have possibly envisioned this? Oh, wait, the last 40 years of software development. Like,
Yep, and they're leaving the
Rip.
testing up to everybody in the community.
Do they have a community?
Well, they. I don't know. Let's see how many people are in this elite task force. I need to take a look.
I'm trying to eat rice, Steve, and you're not helping.
I don't know. There's a huge thing. There's this group picked out called the Elite Task Force by Ubisoft, which is basically come to Sweden and help us fix the game. Please, and they
Alright.
paid people money to do this. I don't know how many people.
But do they pay
Alright,
18,000?
on the PC, currently playing is 1,500 people. In the last 30 days, the average has been about 2,000 people.
Wah, wah, wah.
No
Those two
community.
times, though.
Yeah, there's not that much of a
Okay,
community.
I'm sorry. I've got to do this. I have to do this. Hey guys, the Division is totally gonna kill Destiny. Destiny will never recover. Bungie's chances are over. The Division's gonna take over completely. Yeah,
If they did
I
it
remember you.
properly, honestly, yes, but
You know who you
No,
are.
they
You
didn't
went into
do it
those
properly.
YouTube comments. You went into those YouTube comments and you hailed the end of Destiny. And where are you now? You're back playing Destiny, aren't you? You
Well,
fucking
no, like-
what?
That could have happened. That literally
it
could have
couldn't.
happened if they did so many simple
Steve,
things.
no, it couldn't.
Couldn't-
They're
it
completely
can't.
different
Probably not.
games.
It's
They're
a
Probably not.
completely
jugger.
different games.
It's a juggernaut at this point. It's not gonna die. If you have a game that starts out with 12 million unique users, even if you retain 10% of them, you have a successful intellectual property. Like, just
Very
if you
true.
need an example of how popular the game is, at 5 in the morning Eastern, at 9 a.m. UTC.
We're gonna talk
Okay.
about this, by the way.
It's too late, so we're going for it now.
I know.
Because I'm on a roll. At 5 a.m. EST, okay, they had 390,000 people trying to sign in to Destiny to play the new DLC. They couldn't. They thought their most optimistic estimates that early at that time frame in the U.S. was going to be maybe 100,000 people. They were not prepared. They were not ready. Okay.
They should have
mean-
been though. Like they know how popular the game is. They should have been ready for that.
Yeah, but the crazy thing about this is Bungie never in the history of Destiny, the last 2 years, has actually released real-time player statistics. And everyone has always criticized them for doing that because they're like, you're just trying to hide the fact that your game is dead, right? Well, this queue that happened at 5 in the fucking morning on the PlayStation Network is proof that there is a huge amount of real-time concurrent users playing that game. So much so that it broke their own estimates to the point where their servers were not prepared for that many concurrent logins.
Yeah, between the time and the number of players is what really threw them off, I'm sure. Just purely the time.
I mean, even Xbox barely held itself together. You and I were fucking crossing our fingers. We had what? Getting into the first mission was a 4-minute loading screen.
Yeah,
to
4-minute
contact
load
Destiny
time just
servers.
to get into the first mission.
I mean, those servers. Someone was literally over there with like literal hand fans and like dry ice, dumping dry ice in water, like trying to cool the servers off desperately. Like, oh my god, everything is on fire. There's like the amount of memes that hit Twitter. Like, you guys know the burning dog, the
Yeah.
dog who's in the cafe that's on fire, and it's like at the end, everything is fine, and like his arm is melting, and somebody put the Bungie logo on it, like everything is fine.
Well,
And there's the freaking scene from not A Clockwork Orange. What's the other one?
I'm gonna pull us back in a moment once you.
The guy whose hands he's looking around, just completely confused. And
Right.
somebody green screened that over a server room. It says, "Meanwhile, live images from the Bungie headquarters." Like it's
Yeah.
So-
Reeling us back to the Division.
it sucks. No,
So
continue.
there's a low player base, and the main they didn't draw people from Destiny. Truthfully, like I played it to try it using Steve, who bought it, and I just can't. It's not a good game to me.
Yeah, it's hard when you're using Steve.
Well,
I mean-
the biggest issue for me every single time I got on the Division is like, I don't want to do PvE. I fucking hate PvE. It's boring, it's tedious, it's the same thing over and over again with larger health bars. It's fucking
You
annoying.
are not gonna like the raid ready grind in this patch then.
Great.
Because there's
It's fine. This is why I've done like 6 raids total since the beginning of Destiny.
oh, this is true. You don't really.
I don't really raid. I don't really do the PvE part of Destiny. I PvP. Purely. It's all I give a shit about. There's no PvP in fucking Division. There's not.
Yeah, the biggest, like, I played the Division. I actually went out and I bought it. I was like, all right, I can't be a naysayer. If I don't like it, I can return it and get, as long as I return it within, like, the first week, I can get, I don't know, like, 80% of my money back. That's fine by me. So I go and I buy it and I play it, and it was fun. I liked it. I mean, because I like Destiny, so I'm used to repetitive PvE tasks. I mean, I played MMOs too, so repetition does not bother me. And
Maybe that's part of it. Is
the
like,
thing
a shooter
the thing that I
environment.
didn't understand is it didn't make me turn it on again. like when I turned it on, I put it in and I played it, I enjoyed it, but I didn't. The game wasn't pulling me back. Like after I turned it off the first day, I booted it up the second day to finish parts of the campaign. Then I didn't play it for a day or two, and I turned my Xbox back on. I was like, oh, that's right, I have the Division. Like, and I took it out, put it back in its case, and popped in Destiny. And never looked back. Like it didn't have that grab that made me want to keep playing the game. I don't know what it was missing. It was a well flushed out game. It was mechanically interesting. The locations were fun. The setting design was amazing. I mean, I've never seen a downtown cityscape portrayed as, like a dystopian downtown city portrayed as accurately as the Division did. But it wasn't my thing.
I don't know.
My main problem with it is that no PvP elements besides the fucking Dark Zone, which is just stupid.
Well, people didn't PvP in the Dark Zone because it was statistically and functionally better to not kill each other in the Dark Zone. In fact, it was so disincentivized that YouTubers who made their channel about actually purposefully getting a big group together and ganking people in the Dark Zone had fucking lightsabers for dislike bars and were losing subscribers because people are like, why are you being a dick? Nobody PvPs in the Dark Zone. Yeah. What are you doing?
That was like the big draw to me. It was like this Dark Zone where you can go and like kill other players and take their loot. I'm like, that sounds cool, but then you have to go there. It's like, but then when you become rogue and everyone in the fucking world hates you for it.
Instantly punished for killing somebody.
As soon as the community decided the Dark Zone was happy-go-lucky, everybody works together to do things zone, it was done. That was it. Once the community makes a decision that the Dark Zone is happy, everybody works together to accomplish something, the community's decided that it's over. You can incentivize everybody as much as you tried to, and it still didn't work. Because you still labeled us as rogue, and you still gave more incentives to people to come kill us after we kill people. And if we die, we still lose the shit, so it's not worth it.
Yeah. Like, if the entire Dark Zone turned into a gentleman's farming agreement in top lane. Like, nobody killed anybody. And if somebody hit somebody on accident, like a spray through, and got marked, but they didn't kill anyone, in other words, they had a 0 above their head, but they were marked, people still wouldn't kill them. Because they're like, oh, you must have nicked somebody.
Yep, it happens.
Totally understanding people in the Division.
Literally, because...
But no, I hated that. I hated how there was no, like, first-person option besides in, like, sniper rifles or certain scopes. Like, it was stupid. Overall, just bad. Like, it was a Tom Clancy game. I'm like, you guys just made fucking... what the hell it's called.
So I've raised this question before. I'm going to raise it once more. Is it too late?
I apologize.
To fix
it's never too late.
At this point, it's probably too late to fix it.
Like, what they'd have to do is just make a whole other game and say, fuck, it's the Division.
It's gone on for too long. It's already... Unlike... I'll make another Destiny comparison. Destiny fucked up in year 1.
Yes.
I mean, they fucked up royally, okay? The game was not finished. Half of it was missing. It was obvious that story elements had been cut. And the community, being a Bungie community, had already pieced together 80% of what had occurred. They had seen creative writers leave a year away from the end of production. Marty had been fired. The soundtrack was purposefully not being released to spite him. People were leaving the company. There was leaks coming out of the company. And this is another thing. If there are a lot of leaks coming out of a company, it means that there are disillusioned employees. So you got to look out for that. And there was E3 footage of campaign portions that didn't exist anymore. There were lines of dialogue from characters that didn't make contextual sense. We knew what had happened. The only thing that saved Destiny is the fucking on-point PvP. The mechanically interesting, well-designed player versus player aspect of Destiny is the only thing that kept it alive long enough for them to fix it. The Division didn't have that, so it croaked.
Yep.
That's the long and short of it.
There wasn't
The
anything
only
to
reason
keep players.
Destiny's still around, and the Division is a fucking shit show is because of well-designed PvP. That's it.
I agree. And you know what you really could have done to make the Division a fucking good thing? You take Rainbow Six Siege and that
Yep.
battle mechanic and you put it into the Division.
Literally
Holy
would have
shit.
made it 100 times better. Would have made it 100 times better.
Also, since we're mentioning DLC patches, I want to give a shout out really quick to Xbox customer support. Although we're not sponsored by them, I thought it was going to be a fucking nightmare because I accidentally somehow managed to double purchase the Rise of Iron. There was like some weird like purchasing error that happened that night because the servers were under so much load. So I wound up purchasing it twice. I called in, 2-minute conversation with the support guy. Oh yeah, I clearly see same piece of DLC, same account. That doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't even be possible. Refund. I was like, I thought I was gonna have to argue with you for like 15 minutes. It's like, so good on them.
It's cooperation, I hear. What?
Hey, I had a good experience with the PlayStation support team.
Cheated them out of stuff.
I did indeed. I got a free copy of Black Flag on the PlayStation 4. Pretty sweet.
You might not want to say that on something that's going up on the internet.
Oh, it's too late now. I don't care if they take it.
Story time.
Story time with Steve.
Like I got I got Black Flag for the PS3 because my dad's an idiot and got it for me on the PS3. And it came with like a little code. Like if you have a PS4 though, just use this code and you get it for free as a downloadable thing. I'm like, all right, I'll do that. And it was expired by like a month and a half. So I was like, let's do it anyway. See what happens. And it goes through, but it wouldn't let me download the game. So I called up the PlayStation support staff guy, and I was like, yeah, I redeemed this code, and it didn't work. He's like, oh, yeah, I see it here on your account. You should have it. Well, hold on. Let me just give you the game for free. I'm like, sweet. Thank you.
Is that really cheating them, though? Because you did have a code for it.
It
An
was expired
code.
Expired
Yeah,
code.
but a lot of, like, even retail people are fine with expired codes.
Sure.
There's
It
actually
depends.
at our local Kroger and Walmart, they have a rule that the customer is always right. They'll literally use coupons that are out of date by like 6 months.
Yo, let's make a coupon for like
Right.
free Xbox Ones and PS4s and just go to Walmart.
Okay.
You got to be careful with that, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're making.
Children, we do not recommend defrauding retail. At any
No, we do
point.
not, of course. But if you do it, let us know.
We're moving on. We're forgetting Steve and all of his encouragement, and we're moving on to more than 13 million people took place in the Battlefield 1 open beta.
Which is fucking nuts.
Oh,
That's
like
a
people
lot.
were
That's good for
interested.
server testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They held together pretty well, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they held together pretty well, and then there was a DDoS where it fell apart for the first day.
Well, yeah, but
Like it was working, and then they had that many people on top of a distributed denial of service attack. They just went, all right, we're just gonna let these spurg themselves and wait,
Murdered.
because what people don't understand is that a distributed denial of service attack diminishes in effectiveness over time because you can start blocking where the main inputs from the denial are, and also it costs a huge amount of money to throw that much bandwidth at someone's face. So these places like, you know, these Twitter accounts, these Twitter troll accounts like Lizard Squad and Poodle Corp, what they're really doing is they're just buying a Russian router botnet for X amount of money and throwing it at X target for fun, and then claiming that they were the ones who did it. They didn't do anything. It's a pre-existing botnet. I mean, the only like troll hacker group that I've really heard of that actually built their own botnet used a really old piece of malware from 2003 to infect old unpatched routers in Europe, and that botnet only lasted for like a month. So I feel bad for places like Blizzard and just anybody that runs an MMO in general, or a large that dedicated server system, because some 18-year-old with $500 is going to get a wild hair up his ass, go on Tor, look up a how-to, and then DDoS somebody for 30 minutes just to fuck with them. I mean,
All right, I'm going to read some of this article real quick, and then we'll talk about how we enjoyed the Battlefield 1 beta. I want to personally thank you all for great feedback you've given us. We're trawling through the forum posts, social media mentions, and digging into the data. We have identified what worked well and what didn't, and we are truly value your inputs as the producer. In the near future, we'll have more details to changes we'll be making into the full game. And yes, the light tank performed a little too well, and this will be addressed.
Yeah. Fuck the light tank, man. Also horses.
The
Also
infographic
horses, yes.
doesn't indicate exactly how much ass the light tank kicked, but it does say that the assault class was the most popular choice in the beta, with about 30% of players deploying as assault. Scout came in second with 28%, followed by support at 21%, and medic only
And the
pulled
medic at
11%.
Oh, medics.
Or medic pulled 10%, sorry, and the remaining
10%.
11% was split between tanker, pilot, and cavalry class. So, people that spawn in as a different class are getting different things. 20...
Yeah, I actually don't like that mechanic.
Yeah, neither do I. There used to be an engineer class, and you could pick that if you wanted. And the medic used to be the assault class, which is weird that they've separated.
So now, basically what's happened is, for those of you who somehow didn't play that beta, along with the other 13 million people, now when you get into a vehicle, you're given the ability to repair. Like, you're given a repair tool by the nature of getting in as the driver of a vehicle. You're given two very shitty primary weapons and barely any, and no additional armor at all, unless you're the cavalry class. The cavalry class. And I just don't see a reason for that, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I guess they're trying to punish people who use vehicles like airplanes as a means to rush E, but you shouldn't be bailing out. You should be doing what we did and having one of your squad mates jump into an auxiliary seat with a full class and then bail out to E, which is what we did all the time.
Well,
So.
engineers used to be a full class. They primaried SMGs, and they were a relatively rounded class. The repair torch was their, always, this is a secondary option. You could burn people to death with it, and it was actually an achievement if you killed somebody with it.
In
But-
Battlefield 4, Battlefield 4, you said the assault class could heal, right?
Yeah, the assault class was the medic class.
Yeah, and they were the ones who had DMRs, the designated marksman rifles, right?
No,
Or was
they
that-
had assault rifles and DMRs. DMRs were
Okay.
also an all-around, any class can use DMRs.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like in Battlefield 4, I'd run assault with a designated marksman rifle and canted iron sights, and I'd fucking wreck people with that class. But now the medic had, they had carbines, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And- carbines. I call them carbines. Cause they those guns. They either fired too quickly and were unstable, or were stable but for some reason didn't have enough range.
Yep.
They
That's how I
weren't
felt
balanced
about
very well. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, we just ran snipers because we found that Russian 1985, which was just freaking God cannon.
Oh yeah, that God sniper rifle beauty.
Go
So, 28.9 million melee kills,
Jesus.
23.8 million road kills, and 62.2 million kills while on horseback.
The horses are a little OP, guys.
I think I have this feeling like the heavy vehicles there wasn't enough options to disable them.
No, there really wasn't.
No, that
Like,
was my
the
big
only-
issue.
The only good way to fight them was to get in an anti-tank vehicle, which you would instantly get sniped out of because there was always a sniper team on one team or on one team.
Yep.
Yep.
And for us, it was us a lot of the time. We were the sniper fags. And the minute somebody get a turret, boom, it'd be done. So you couldn't really do that because of the way the map was designed. And then the only other option was to counter them with similar vehicles. I mean,
Or
if you put
pulling out a bunch of assault players, but
yeah, it's all. But like when I got into a tank, what I did is I would play super cautious with it.
Yep.
Like you guys remember when we'd play together, I'd get in. I'd always hide behind stuff. I'd always try to be at 100% health. I would only fight other tanks at long range, and all of the rest of the time, I'd just kill soft targets. I'd rack up 25, 30 kills per tank most of the time. And we'd capture 4 or 5 points. We'd just roam in between our side angle, and then we'd either go, B, C, D, or we'd go in between E, G, and D, because getting a heavy tank into F was a good way to get yourself killed because it was too tight.
Yeah, there's way too much tight quarters there.
I have a feeling that the map choice was also poor. The map was too open. They should have picked a map with a little bit more close quarters and a little bit tighter sight lines. I think if they would have done that, you would have seen the medic actually performing better at mid-range.
Yeah, where the medic is probably the better class of all right now. It does like 36 damage-ish at mid-range. It's still a decent weapon. You'll outkill an auto rifle at that range generally, but I mean, we should also mention that our final day of playing the beta, we ran into the aimbot, which is fully developed.
The aimbots, which is already ready to go, and it was very powerful.
Beautiful.
It was absurdly powerful.
Yeah, he got on that MO whatever the crap suppressor heavy LMG you get from the box, and just got up to like C, and then killed everybody he could possibly see.
I think when we left the game, he was 98-0.
When I left, he was
Probably.
114-0. I left about a minute after you guys, but yeah.
Like the reason why it's so easy to develop bots is because there's already aim bots developed for Battlefield 4, and the coding is really similar.
Yep.
They just had to port it over. Now I'm not going to be upset about that, but they better have a very good hacking detection system built into the full game, because if I start seeing any of those in active play, if I buy the game and I start seeing any of those in active play on PC, I will instantly sell the game back and I will not turn around. Because if you are going to release a game on PC, you need to have a very advanced anti-cheat system. Or at least a common fucking sense anti-cheat system that looks at somebody who's 114-0 and goes, lol, what? Like...
Steve, Deldev, Doc, all of you look up... Does Origin have a refund policy?
Yes.
Do
I
they?
believe so.
Yes, they do. I do not know what the limiting
Would you look
factors
it up
are.
for me, Steve?
I think there was a big joke that used to go around before Steam allowed refunds, where how EA allows refunds, why isn't Steam doing it? Because
Let's
EA is,
see.
the worst company.
Yeah, but, other than that, I really enjoyed the beta. I mean, Sniper class is always what I generally play.
It has
Even
to be either within 24 hours after you first launched. It has to be 24 hours within the first launch of the game, within 7 days from the date purchased, and within 7 days of the game's release date if you pre-ordered it.
Okay.
So it has to be within the first week.
Basically, you
Yeah.
have to play it within the first week, and as soon as you play it, you have 24 hours to decide from that point whether you want to.
If you purchase a new EA game within the first 30 days of its release but can't play it due to technical reasons, you can request a refund within 72 hours after you first launched the game instead of 24 hours.
So there's exceptions for the servers being down. Cool.
Yes.
Where I was going with what I was saying about snipers is I even play snipers in CQC because normally the snipers would get semi-automatic snipers, you iron sight them, and then you run around CQCing people's heads off. It was probably one of my favorite. You remember in Battlefield 3, did anybody play that besides me?
I only
Barely.
played Battlefield 4.
I barely did, yeah.
Okay, there's a CQC map called the Tower of something with a Z. Zebra Tower, sorry. Zebra Tower. And it's just the top of a building with 2 floors. And I just roamed around with an MOA-4 automatic or semi-automatic sniper rifle iron sights the whole time, because why not? That was something I was glad to see in the beta, though, was that the reason they had 2 of every rifle, if you noticed, was one of them was either iron sights or close range scoped, and the other one was long range scoped. Granted, I don't like using a bolt action with iron sights, but I pulled it off pretty well at sea. I went close quarters combat just to test it at sea with the bolt action rifle iron sights. It's still one shot to the head, and it's great. I actually enjoyed the shit out of it. 20, 30 meters
The
away
one
from
thing-
your target with an iron sight.
One other thing that
sniper.
pisses me off is I don't agree that someone with a melee weapon should be able to rush a pistol and win because of melee lunge.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of.
had that happen to me several times,
Yeah.
especially with the shovel, whose auto freaking attack range seems to be ridiculous. There's been some complaints about the trench knife, because apparently the trench knife has a 180 degree auto target range. Like if there's someone close enough to you to melee in 180 degrees of your vision, if they're within range, you'll auto target them with a fucking trench knife. Like you don't even have to be looking at them. It'll go like, ah. There's a whole video. No, really. There's a video. There's several trench knife only montages up on YouTube that like showcase how hilariously ridiculous the auto melee lunge on the trench knife is.
Well,
Like that's
is that a guaranteed kill?
yes, it is a 100% hit from the back or the front.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's something that really pissed me off in the Battlefield 1 beta. Melees killed me guaranteed from the front. This is the first Battlefield that's ever fucking happened in. Like, you used to knife somebody in the foot, and if you knifed them in the foot, it took 3 times to knife them in the foot before they died. Granted, it was hilarious, because, man, that was one of the best montages I ever did with my friend. It was, you crouch through a door, and when somebody hides behind the door, their legs will come through it.
You
And
knife
you
them
just
in the
start
foot.
knifing them in the foot until they die. But, obviously, you have to do that more than once. And I disliked in the beta how it was just like, whack, you're dead! Whack, you're dead! Stab, you're dead! I'm like, this isn't how I want melees to work. Melees are always annoying because people rush you and then there's no point in having a secondary weapon. Because the melee beats the weapon all the time. Pistols don't deal enough damage, even to the head, to kill somebody before they knife you. And if they kill you from the front when you're shooting at them, it just feels like a waste to have the pistol. Like, why do I even have this pistol? It doesn't stop them from killing me. And
Well,
the only...
I mean, it's not completely based on getting rushed. It's also based on having something secondary to use if you run out of ammo, if you're in a close mid-range combat.
Well, you shouldn't be running out of ammo. That's what the support class is for.
Well, no, he means like in the actual
Yeah,
clip itself.
Yeah, when you have to reload, and you're fighting
Depending
someone,
on the
you might
weapon,
as
it
well
can take
switch.
too long to holster whatever you have as a primary to switch to the pistol.
Yeah,
Right,
I
but a
noticed
lot
that.
of times it is better to just switch in a lot of games.
It really depends on the weapon in Battlefield, especially because, like, popping out a clip and popping it in and loading is faster than taking that, moving the sling onto your back, and then unholstering whatever weird old school pistol you happen to have. Especially because I was using the heavier pistol, and it would take me longer to ready that heavy pistol than it would for me to reload. The only time I ended up switching to the pistol was when I was like, I need to move through buildings, and I need a fast weapon. Because obviously sniper going through doorways is not useful. At least not with a 12x scope on it. Or 4x. I don't even know what the scopes were. Probably 6x, maybe. They definitely weren't the ballistic scope, and I want my ballistic scope back. But, I don't know if there was a ballistic scope in World War I.
Hashtag Battlefield 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if there was a ballistic scope then, so... Whatever. But... variable zoom scopes existed. I'd like one of those at some point. But ignoring all that, the only time I used a pistol was to move through buildings, and then I would come up on somebody. They would rush me to stab me, I would shoot at them, and they would kill me with the knife before I killed them with the pistol. Which literally means the pistol is of no use to me. Because, what's the point? I can just go around with my sniper rifle out and knife people in close quarters because it works better than the pistol. The only thing I found weird was the pistol, my pistol, the one I was using. I don't know if it was the same that you guys were using. Mine beat the trench gun, though, for the assault class.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I was like, why is this pistol... Like, granted, I have to land the shots in the chamber, and it's a click, 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 but I still killed the assault class faster than they killed me with an automatic rifle. And that doesn't seem right at all. It's a hand cannon patch problem. I have nothing really more to say. I really enjoyed it. I have irks that I don't like, but I mean, if they don't resolve it, they don't resolve it. Also, I don't know why the Claymore is now a support class option. Don't know if you noticed that, but it wasn't in the sniper class. It was a support class thing, and it was more of a tripwire with explosive, but still it was basically your Claymore that you'd want with a sniper, and it was a support class item.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anybody got anything else to say?
Not really.
Okay,
I find the hoist to be too overpowered.
they're looking at the balancing. I do find the horse to be too overpowered, and my primary issue is half the time I'm shooting the guy at the top, and I'm getting
But you're
registered.
hitting the horse.
Yeah, I'm getting registered horse damage, and I'm like, what's the point of him being there, like so exposed, if I can't kill him? Like, why does
the hitbox on the horse is way too big.
the
It could
hitbox on the
overshadow
horse was weird?
his hitbox.
Because I was hitting the horse when I should be hitting his body, and it's just not right. Granted, I sniped one guy off a horse once, and that was satisfying. I also managed to get a snipe out of a plane, and that was also satisfying. But moving on. For those of you people not secluded in the darkness, you know that Rise of Iron came out, especially since we already mentioned it, but Destiny the Rise of Iron is out! Woo! This is literally a stub article. I'm using it just purely to talk about Destiny. So, you were saying they had their servers set up to handle an incoming, 100,000?
It's probably
people?
what they anticipated, yeah.
Now, primarily when they're setting up this, what I'm trying to get into right now is networking talk for a little bit, because a lot of games are having issues on release day or near like beta release days where their servers aren't able to handle the number of players, because magically they're not expecting the number of players they end up with. And I find it like what we're looking at is what, a bandwidth issue most likely, or what do you think the issue actually is? Is it something about the servers trying to distribute players over the other servers, and 500,000 players hit hit the target server, and then it just goes, I don't know how to process this many people because all of you hit me at once.
It's a login server problem. It's not the fault of a load balancer or anything like that. There is a series of servers that are specifically designed for pulling character information and then dropping you into the rest of the environment, and too many people hit those at once. And there wasn't there was no way to solve the problem with distribution because they physically did not have enough raw input slots for the number of people that were hitting it. So, like, calling it a bandwidth problem is a misnomer. It had nothing to do.
I wasn't sure what the problem was. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah, but I don't have necessarily a word for it either because it's not bandwidth. It's more of an access slot problem.
Okay.
And I know there's a name for that. I just can't remember what it is. Like there's not enough client slots, basically, I guess is the way to say it.
Right. Okay. So a bunch of clients all pinged this server, and it only had this X number of slots ready to go, and then it overflowed and lagged.
It's not a lag thing either. What was going on? So let's say that you have 100 available slots, right?
Right.
And 200 people try to sign in.
Okay.
The first 50 or so people probably don't have a problem. But what happens afterwards is there's a congestion issue where two people try and sign in at the same time and the server has to pick one. Okay?
Right.
Then as it tries to move that person to the next slot, two more people have already attempted to connect to that slot. And then it tries to pick one of the three, and then those two move over, and now there's four, and then four carry over, and then five, and then four carry over, and then six, and then five carry over. And eventually it gets to the point where the server either runs out of transition memory or times out.
Okay.
And you get locked in to a race state where you have too many people trying to sign in to too few balanceable slots at a time, and the system gets congested. There's obviously enough bandwidth for that many people to attempt to sign in at once.
Whoa.
And processing for that many people to actually sign in. Does that make sense? Like that's as close as I can get to describing the problem.
Gotcha.
I obviously don't know their networking architecture. I don't know their character signing capability. But what they did was, instead of attempting to balance that much load, they instituted the oldest stopgap measure in the book, which is a sign-in queue, where you dump everyone into a giant holding bucket and you disable the timeout system, so no one times out of the authentication server. And then you pick a handful of people at a time and run them through the login step, pull their character information, and then dump them into the rest of the environment.
Okay. So I wasn't necessarily wanting you to, know their architecture, just make a theory.
No, I know. There you go. That's my theory.
Yeah.
What surprises me is that someone in their company had the foresight to actually have that system implemented. This is the first time that Destiny has ever had to activate some sort of queue. I didn't even know that it could do that. like that function it never existed, even during launch day.
Right.
That problem, the strange thing, and what leads me to believe that there was some sort of load balancing issue that caused the problem, rather than actually running out of slots, is that I can guarantee you this many people or more participated in the initial login for the Taken King, and that didn't take them down. Okay. So somewhere something was not behaving the way it was supposed to, and because they couldn't diagnose that in real time, the only way to fix the problem without just having no one able to log in at all was to institute a queue. So
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
So like, rather than sitting there for 4 hours trying to fix the problem, the underlying cause, they just clamped off the number of people that could sign in at a time and went from there.
Gotcha. So you think a similar... So now we're going to conject a little farther away from Destiny. We'll come back. Do you think a similar problem is occurring with other games when people attempt to log in the first time, or do you think it's not necessarily that for every game, just particularly
It's not that
Destiny?
for every game. There's a billion things that can go wrong. You could have a literal physical bandwidth problem.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just not what happened
You
with
could
Destiny this time.
Yeah, you could have too much. You could have too much traffic for the load balancer to handle. You could have equipment that is improperly handling errors and is crashing and causing instability in the system. There's a whole slew of things that can cause login problems, because what people don't understand is that Xbox Live is not multiplayer. Okay, Xbox Live is a closed environment that consoles talk to each other in,
Yeah.
kind of like almost like a VPN, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, there's no encryption going on, but it's a closed house network. Okay, it's its own network inside the internet that authenticates the consoles, pulls your user information, and then dumps you into the Xbox Live environment. Then you hit Bungie's servers, and the same thing happens. They authenticate you and then pull you into their environment. Login problems happen in the transition between Xbox Live and people's actual intranet environments.
Intranet?
Intranet, yes, is the word you're looking for.
Intranet. Okay.
Yeah.
Rather than
in the
internet.
system.
It's like interstate. It's like
Yeah.
interstate versus nobody uses the word intrastate, but that's what a highway that doesn't go into other states is
It is
called.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and then even if you strip Xbox Live out of the equation, so you have PC games like MMOs and stuff like that, the same entrance guard problems happen where they authenticate you, and then once you're into the network, once you're into their system and authenticated, the login servers can go down, which is why even in games like, I'll use Minecraft for an example, if you are in a Minecraft server and you've already authenticated to that server and the Minecraft sign-in server goes down, as long as you don't log out, you are still authenticated, because that server knows that you're valid now and doesn't need to keep checking to make sure that you're still valid. The minute you try to log out and log back in, it'll go login session invalid,
Right.
or login server down for maintenance or something like that.
Okay. And that was our networking brief. Basically giving you an idea of what happens when games kind of explode.
Yeah, there's no, like, without knowing the actual architecture of the company or an example of a similar problem, like, I can't give you the, like, legit technical terms for what's going on. It's just basically, as a rule of thumb, you can't put 4 pounds of shit in a 3-pound bag.
Got it.
Okay? By definition, it cannot be done.
So, moving on, let's get to our first impressions of the actual Rise of Iron. I am actually enjoying it. I don't know if they've implemented something else, or I just have high-range hand cannons, but I'm noticing slightly less ghost bulleting. It's not gone. I've noticed
Weapon balance is still garbage.
It's still there. Yeah, weapon balance is still shit.
I've been playing a lot of Crucible, and weapon balance still is not where it needs to be.
Yeah, we're still running into the scout rifle beam of death.
It's all I can on close quarters maps. Okay, it's pretty much either last word,
Great.
shotguns,
Fantastic.
IS Luna, or really high rate of fire pulse rifles.
Or my trespasser.
On larger sight lines, it's really high rate of fire scout rifles or high aim assist sniper rifles. It's still the same meta.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed. The names of the weapons have changed. The reason hand cannons are doing a little bit better, and you'll like this, you should save your marks up, because there is a vendor hand cannon from the Vanguard called the Palindrome that has retarded rolls on it.
Oh my
It has a really high impact, a medium rate of fire a really high range, which solves the ghosting problem, like we were talking about before, because ghosting is the random roll is attached to range, and it's a really high range hand cannon. And it also has small bore and counterbalance.
Tasty.
Or not counterbalance, the hand cannon equivalent of counterbalance, which is I think
Perfect balance.
perfect. It's either perfect balance or it's the smart drift control.
Oh,
It's one of them.
I think it's called perfect balance. Because I know my.
I'd have to look it up.
Is it the one that's on the thorn you're thinking of? Because there's a perfect balance on the thorn.
That's called send it.
No, there's send it, which is the range, and then there's. Oh, is this not a stability perk? This is a range perk.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what it is. It's got rifle barrel.
Rifle barrel.
That's the
Okay.
range perks I'm looking for.
That's a tasty hand cannon.
Yeah, it drops reload and mag size slightly, but it like fucking pops your range up really high.
Looking forward to that. I'm enjoying it. I love the aesthetic of the Iron Temple for sure. It's fucking gorgeous. Sitting up there on a mountain.
I have to say, my personal experience with it has been great.
Awesome.
Yeah, he played like one mission.
Okay, I was gonna say
I
what
was
still have you even
beautiful.
done?
I've not even played it, and I probably won't play it.
Yeah, we're not shocked
I'll
about
get
that.
to it eventually.
Yeah, don't be.
I'm not shocked about it. I'm having a
I've-
great
I've-
time with it. I
had my
didn't
fill of
think weapon
Destiny.
balance had been fixed. My bad juju is still godly. I've noticed.
I really don't want to have to go start playing with the last word, but I will if I have to, because I want to be able to use a mid-range. I want to be able to use a close-range hand cannon, and if I have to be a dirty bitch in order to do that, I have no problem with it.
Now, I have a weird thing to
Also,
add just for
really,
1
before-
second. About the last word, that's why I'm talking.
Warlocks still also aren't where they need to be.
No, still not.
No, Warlocks are the weakest class in the game right now, and
That's
I'd
fascinating.
get flack for saying that, but
They kind of
it's
are.
true.
They
It's-
have been for a little while.
I'm playing as a Warlock right now, and I am thoroughly displeased by the way that my kit is performing.
How so?
Yeah, how so? What is disappointing you currently? I'm assuming. Let's start with Sunsinger. What's wrong with Sunsinger?
Sunsinger, and this is going to blow your fucking mind, is the most powerful class right now. And the reason it's
Wait.
the most powerful class... let me explain. The reason it's the most
Warlock
powerful
sucks, but
class...
Sunsinger is good.
No, the most
no.
powerful class in Warlocks,
In Warlock.
inside of Warlock.
Oh, and Warlock.
But
okay.
it's been
Now-
nerfed to bloody hell.
I will tell you why. If you run double sticky grenade, because of the way that the
Fusion
new
gate.
maps are designed,
Gift of the
and
sea.
how heavily the new maps are being weighted, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in because of the close corridors and really tight corners, the shield hand in combination with a good shotgun and 2 sticky grenades is retardedly fucking powerful because people can't dodge your grenades.
Right, because
Does
there's
that
nowhere
make
to
sense?
move. The corridors are so fucking tiny. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. What are you running into with problems with Voidwalker?
I don't have any problems with Voidwalker. What I'll tell you right now is I'm playing a game right now. I am 0-6 with a Stormcaller right now.
Stormcaller?
Yeah.
Stormcaller
like-
seemed really nerfed after the Transcendence nerf. Not gonna lie. But,
Like, I now I'm 0. Like, you know that I'm good at this game, so I have nothing to prove. But like with the way these maps are set up and the type of grenades that
are available.
are available for that class, it's just
There's enough flux.
it's a thoroughly
They don't have a
unenjoyable
flux grenade?
experience right now. No, because this is what I'm telling you. Because of the tight corridors,
Right,
and
I
the
was just
really
pointing
tight
out the
corners
sticky
now-
thunder grenade.
now the previously powerful grenades that swept in a circle and the lightning bolt grenades
Right.
can't hit anything because there's hundreds of pieces of geometry in the way that are blocking all damage from those grenade types.
Right.
So the grenade on my kit is completely useless, which means that I can't do any leading damage to an incoming target.
Right.
And then I'm getting outgunned by a bunch of last words. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's just it's thoroughly it's a shit show. The only way for me to get good performance out of this class is when my alt is up.
Right. Because
And
it's a roaming alt of Doom.
because it's a roaming alt, and if you can't get kills outside of your alt, you can't get your alt.
Yeah.
So my alt's barely ever up, and I'm sitting here at the bottom of the team with like 2 kills
You have to try.
because my fucking grenade kit can't do anything. Like it was so useless. I just backed out of that game.
I have a few
Like my
ideas how
KD,
to
my
rectify
KD in that game is
yeah.
so bad that I'm like, and Voidwalker also. Voidwalker is really good because the geometry problem isn't affecting
Axion bolt.
tracking Axion bolts.
Yeah.
So I can just throw Axion bolts all fucking day. But Stormcaller, I declare Stormcaller to be completely useless right now, and I'm probably gonna once I figure out once I level up more and figure out what gear I'm working with, I am probably gonna spec for main Voidwalker.
Okay.
That's probably gonna be the way that it
I
works.
might be able to resolve the issues with Stormcaller, but they're going to. The specs are going to be weird because they're not going to be the same way that you would have spec'd at all.
No, yeah, I'm just saying Warlocks overall are in a terrible
Are in a
position.
terrible position, definitely. I've noticed, especially with Shadow Shot around to nerf roaming alts and Golden Gun there.
I
to just tell you to stay in your
definitely
place.
foresee Titans taking over completely.
Yeah, Hammer Titans right now seem to
Hammer Titans and Strikers are now back as basically the best classes. They're coming back into the meta.
be. Blade
and-
Dancer's coming back.
Blade Dancer is
been
coming back
dead.
because of the tight quarters.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually love the
It
Blade
was
Dancer.
dead,
That's my
though.
favorite thing.
Blade
Was it
Dancers
dead?
were
Oh, yeah.
useless.
No, it was Blade Dancers
Why?
were totally useless for a while.
How were they useless?
Big
especially with
maps,
ghost
wide
bullets?
open quarters. Easy
Oh,
ways
yeah.
to kill them before they get to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we're in close quarters again, tight area spaces. They're seeing a resurgence, and it's annoying.
Add that-
as fuck.
Add that with Hungering Blade
I tend to
and
use Encore.
invisibility.
I'm the
every
weird
single-
person that uses Encore.
So every single kill you get,
increase your super energy when you get a kill.
Encore extends the duration of Blade Dance.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, but Hungering
Yeah, so
Blade.
I use that too then.
So because you're in close quarters with a lot of people stacked up against each other, dealing team damage will no longer kill the Blade Dancer because every time he kills one of you, he instantly gains 25% of his
Yeah.
health back
It's
plus
just-
initiates recharge. So if you've got 3 people in close quarters, unless all of you shotgun him at exactly the same time and prevent him from killing one of you, if he gets one of you, he's getting all 3 again. There's nothing you can do to stop him unless you have an ult.
And
Which
even
is
then-
another reason why Striker Titans are coming back, because you can't see them coming because of the close quarters. They have really powerful grenades, like the lightning grenade, which can affect an entire corridor, which is really good, and they're the only viable shutdown for Blade Dancers.
Yeah, they're the only viable if you're
Put
too
all that
close to the
together.
Blade Dancer.
Make a PBJ.
Put that together, and you've got a new meta.
Because
And then
GG
also
chat, that'll
Voidwalkers.
take a second to
Voidwalkers
work.
can shut down.
Yeah, Voidwalkers suffer the same issue. In my opinion, Voidwalkers suffer the same issue that Shadowstalkers and GG suffer, which is you have that wind-up period, and that wind-up period is sometimes enough for the Blade Dancer to get you.
Oh,
Yeah, that time it takes
That's why I
you
always-
to cast it.
yeah. I always jump up and look down. I don't just stand there and do it. If you
yeah,
can jump
but
up sometimes,
the
you
corridors
can get
don't
over top of them.
necessarily have high enough ceilings for you to get away.
Yeah, There you go. And there's your other reason why Warlocks are performing so badly, because Warlocks rely on being able to floof, and you can't floof in a bunch of corridors with lids on them. You can't do it. So without the ability to float to get out of the way of close quarters combat,
Yep.
you're totally fucking boned. There's nothing you can do.
So we have
That's-
one more
that's-
article, and I feel like we should flow into it, so maybe we can get some time to do other stuff. There isn't going to be an
Yes,
after
I can do
stream, fair warning, everybody that's watching right now. Appreciate you being here, but there's no after stream. Moving on, final article. Valve removes Digital Homicide's games from Steam.
Just because Digital Homicide are just being fucking scumfucks.
Literally, like,
Being little butthead little turds.
they're literally just whining. Let's basically removal reply statement. Reply statement is ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous. I almost don't want to read it. Let's just I'm gonna read it.
Just go for it.
First, I'd like to briefly respond to Doug Lombard's official statement about Digital Homicide and its owners. I'd like to give some context to his official statement. Valve has stopped doing business with Digital Homicide for being hostile to Steam customers. What has actually transpired was a lack of resolution from Steam in regards to moderation on their platform, which might sound like a tough job to do, but coming from a company about brags about its profitability per employee is higher than Google, it just shows a reckless disregard for well-being of their community and further profits. We submitted numerous reports and sent multiple emails regarding emails, making personal attacks, harassment, and more often than not this has done but on other Steam customers, more often than not, but on other Steam customers who are actually interested in our products. The lawsuit was submitted in regards to a handful of Steam users has been labeled by the media, and now Doug Lombard's Valve representative statement as being hostile to Steam users in general, which is incorrect. The lawsuit recently filed is solely in regards to individuals where no resolution was able to be obtained from Steam and provided a safe environment to us to conduct business by removing us for defending ourselves against harassment on Steam is openly stating that you cannot defend yourself from examples like these. It's literally a comment that says, I want to murder every single person responsible for one of their games linked. And
Yep.
somehow they don't understand this.
So
And
Digital Homicide Studios
So
has
what you're
never
saying
been on
is-
the internet before.
Yeah, so what you're saying is Digital Homicide Studios is the studio incarnation of Anita Sarkeesian.
Yes. That one.
one more. I got
No.
two more examples here I want you to hear just for your own enjoyment. A comment from a Steam user who was reported and never taken care of, reported for ongoing harassment. His reply is, you claim that you had to deal with people insulting you, saying that they feel sorry for your kids for having a father like you. You may never see why, but they are legitimately sorry they have to put up with someone like you.
Hold on, they were butthurt about that?
Yes, they were butthurt
That's
about that
very-
comment and labeled it as harassment.
That's so mild. That's not even harassing.
They're worried about getting so basically, yeah, they're playing the victim because they got trolled. That's what's
Yeah,
going
like
on
they
here.
got trolled so hard.
And then
they're
the
just-
final example is literally a guy swearing through his whole entire review. He censored himself with hearts and smileys for some reason. But it's basically
Well, I think
him
Steam just does that itself.
swearing and telling them to go kill themselves. You know, the standard internet.
Yeah, the standard internet user.
And then their outgoing article is, when someone bothers you on, say, a platform like Facebook and you find the need to ban them, the Facebook response after you ban is, sorry you had to experience this. Then the person is removed from being able to post on your page. Steam's stance is what just happened to us. By removing us, they have taken the stance that users have the right to harass me and tell me that I should kill myself and insult my family. If I try to
No,
defend
by
myself-
removing you, they say you can't fucking steal assets, you fucking bitch. Like, I'm not going to allow you. I'm not going to allow you to read this piece completely clean without comment. What this guy is doing is he is playing the most classic victim card in existence in the entire book. Okay, he's taking the worst comments that he can find and saying that he's been banned from Steam for reporting users for being assholes. What's really happened is he threatened a frivolous lawsuit against people who made fucking comments against him, however, upsetting those may be. And when he got banned and called on an unrelated event, for instance, stealing fucking Unity assets from other games and selling broken and poorly optimized shit on Steam and getting flack for it, he immediately uses the existing, little bit of harassment that he's received in order to try and start a pity train and set Steam up as the big bad guys who protect their harassing users. I was like, literally go fuck yourself. There's...
Yep.
It's just this is so classic. The only reason why it's not working is because he doesn't have a vagina.
I was gonna say this sounds more and more like Brett Keane than Anita Sarkeesian.
No, this is Anita Sarkeesian to a
Sarkeesian.
fucking T.
No, it's not.
Is
Brett Keane.
it?
It's Anita Sarkeesian.
This sounds a lot more like Brett Keane.
No,
like
it
people
doesn't.
with my family and
No, guys, we can't make comparisons to Brett Keane. People won't know who he is.
Yeah, and people don't necessarily know who
yeah.
Brett Keane is, but it's definitely Anita Sarkeesian way more than Brett Keane. Let me finish this. If I try to defend myself against said actions, then I lose my family's income. If it wasn't for the 2 years of experience of dealing with Steam on a regular basis, this disgusting stance would seem shocking to me. The only thing that prevented me from seeking legal counsel for a long time, for a long list of breach of contracts, interference with business, antitrust issues, and fear of losing my family's income, since that has been taken away from me, I'm seeking legal representation. The case will benefit from a long list of organized documentation of events that have happened over the past 2 years, including dates, screenshots, emails, and more than 100 interactions in need of litigation. Legal counsel interested in our case can contact us.
they're not even gonna look for the legal counsel. Like, if you're interested, please contact us.
Well, they're more likely to find somebody that'll come to them than the opposite.
This guy's a
Truthfully.
turd. I'm done with him. Done with him. Turd.
Yeah, it's said that they think that their little company can block out all the bad reviews and all the snarky comments because they feel hurt. And it's just not something that happens.
Yeah, in the words of Undoomed, your fifis don't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They literally are just whining, and at this point, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm already off the page. Don't care.
Yep, other than
Website
that,
hate.
I'm pretty much done with all the articles. I have no other comments. Anything anybody else wants to say?
Nope.
No, I'm done.
Alright, well, Doc, feel free to play us out.
Oh, you got to give me a little bit more lead away than that.
Oh,
This has
I
been
do have to do
4
that
mics.
longy little thingy. Go. You're free.
Yeah. This has been 4 Mics, the podcast where 4 guys who know a little bit about a lot of stuff attempt to sound mildly entertaining on the internet. Thank you very much for listening, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
And also send us all your money.
Yeah.
Yes, send you.
Email
All
us.
those to you.
Email us with questions. Follow us on Twitch. Like us
No,
on
just
Twitter.
email us with
All of
money.
those craps. I'm missing up Twitter and Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Bye, everybody.